Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Glad to have you all here for today's mini charge episode for Wednesday, August 18th, 2026. Had to look up at the corner of my screen. Forgot to put the date in my notes. It's me, your host, Joel, and today's mini charge episode is all about EV DC fast charging pricing, as well as the old and new players to the fast charging game. Now, if you bought an electric vehicle over the last couple of years, you were probably told the exact same thing I was. Gas pumps are money pits and electricity is dirt cheap, which is kinda, sorta true-ish. And look, if you're plugging into a wall outlet in your garage overnight while you sleep, that promise holds up about 100% of the time. Depending on where you live, topping off a battery at home costs maybe a third of what you would throw into a gas tank. But the second you pack your bags for a road trip, pull out of your garage, driveway, wherever you live, out onto that interstate and rely on public fast chargers, man, the whole equation changes really fast. Right now, we are right in the middle of a wild, quiet price war in the world of level 3 DC fast charging. On one side, you've got EV drivers pulling up to chargers and getting serious sticker shock when they realize a fast charge can actually cost more than filling up maybe a hybrid. On the other side, you've got giant charging networks like Tesla, retail giants like Walmart, and new player coalitions like IONNA locked in a total showdown over profit margins, electric grid fees, and who gets your loyalty. So why are fast charging prices swinging all over the place? I mean, we've seen stuff almost as high as $1 a kilowatt hour now. Why is every single app trying to get you on a monthly subscription now? And who's actually going to win this whole thing? Before we get started, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow EV Geek Studios on whatever platform you watch us on. Maybe, just maybe, if you got an extra $5 laying around, you'll consider becoming a $5 paid member on our YouTube channel, get you early access to all our content. We don't want you to miss out on any of our great content. So right now, hit those buttons. Now, let's take an inside look at the EV fast charging price war. All right, so to really get what's going on here, we have to look at what drivers, like myself, are actually running into when they pull up to a plug to charge out in the wild. So let's run a few quick numbers. So across the country, the average home electricity rate is somewhere around 18 cents per kilowatt hour. I'm lucky here in Arkansas, I pay about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. At that price, taking a standard 75 kilowatt hour EV battery from empty to full in your driveway cost about 13 to 14 bucks. That gives you 250 to 300 miles of range, which is incredible. And you have to realize most people aren't charging from 0 to 100 every night. When I get home, sometimes I'm at 40 or 50% and I just top off to 80%. So for me, it's just maybe $3 or $4 a day, sometimes less than that. Now let's take the exact same car and pull it into a highway fast charger. Instead of 18 cents, you're suddenly looking at possibly 45 cents, 55 cents, or if you're driving through somewhere like California during peak hours, possibly 65 or 70 cents a kilowatt hour. Just like that, your $13 at-home charge turns into a $40 to $45 charge. If you're driving a sleek sedan, you're basically paying what a hybrid driver pays to fill up their tank. But if you're towing a trailer in an electric truck, you are officially paying more per mile than a diesel driver. So people pull up, see that number, and naturally ask, is this just corporate price gouging, or is something actually broken with how charging works? Well, the truth is, it's a mix of tough infrastructure cost and weird way power companies bill for electricity. See, your house slowly trickles power overnight. The grid barely notices it. It's like just running your dryer for a couple hours a night. But a 350 kilowatt fast charger, that hits the electrical grid like a lightning bolt. When 3 or 4 EVs plug in at the exact same time and pull maximum power, it creates a massive spike in demand. And power companies hate spikes, so they charge commercial operators something called a demand charge. And we've talked to JT at Franklin Charging about this. This is the majority of where his costs come from, is from these demand charges. Now, these aren't fees for the total electricity used over a month. They are a massive penalty based on the single highest peak of power drawn in any 15-minute window. In some places, these demand charges can make up over 50 to 70% of the charging station's entire monthly electric bill. Think about how crazy that is. A station could sit totally empty all morning. Then 3 cars pull in around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, draw max power at once, and that single 15-minute window locks in a huge utility penalty for the whole month. To stay afloat, charging companies have no choice. They have to pass those costs directly onto us at the plug when we charge. And this is where the price war gets aggressive, because every major player has a completely different corporate playbook for how they charge you. We're going to look at 3 of the biggest heavyweights right now in the DC fast charging arena: Tesla, Walmart, and IONNA. First up, OG Tesla. So for years, Tesla operated the supercharger network basically as a nonprofit perk to sell cars. But now that the network is open to non-Tesla drivers using NACS adapters or NACS-supported vehicles, Tesla has turned charging into a massive revenue stream. If you drive a Tesla, you pay standard rates, usually around 35 to 45 cents per kilowatt hour, depending on location and time of day. But if you pull up in a Ford, a Rivian, or a Hyundai, Tesla hits you with what they call a non-Tesla premium, roughly a 40% markup. So if a Tesla driver pays 40 cents, a non-Tesla driver might be paying 50, 55, or 60 cents per kilowatt hour at the same plug. So how do you get around that non-Tesla tax? Well, Tesla sells a $12.99 a month supercharging membership for non-Tesla owners. Pay that $13 and your rate drops back down to whatever Tesla owners pay. If you road trip twice a month, it pays for itself instantly. Now, let's look at Walmart. Now, we're specifically just looking at Walmart, not Electrify America stations at Walmart, because Walmart isn't just leasing parking space to Electrify America anymore. They are actively building out their own massive in-house fast charging network. And I thought I read somewhere today that it's like 1 charger per day they're actually rolling out. It is expanding super fast. And their pricing strategy is brilliant. It's built on grocery store math. Walmart's baseline rates generally hover around 46 to 48 cents per kilowatt hour. I've seen a little bit lower than that in some areas. But some locations offer off-peak night rates as low as 32 cents an hour. I believe I just saw someone post online, it may have been Arkansas e-Traveler, that one of those locations in north of Arkansas was actually down to 26 cents for off-peak night rates. Plus, if you hold a Walmart Plus subscription, you get an automatic 10% discount on your charging sessions. Now, Walmart's goal isn't necessarily to make a fortune off those electrons. Their goal is to get you to a plug for about 20 minutes for you to walk inside, spend $80 on groceries or whatever you're buying while you're waiting for your car to charge. They can afford to keep charging margins slim because the charger acts as a magnet for store foot traffic. I can tell you this, every time we've stopped at a Walmart to charge, 95% of the time we walked out with something in our hand that we bought. Finally, you have IONNA. So if you haven't heard of IONNA yet, you're living in a cave. Remember this name. It's the massive joint venture backed by 8 giant automakers, including BMW, GM, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, Stellantis, and Toyota. They are building premium highway rechargeries with 400 kilowatt plugs that are both NACS and CCS compatible. It's about a 60-40 split that favors CCS at these stations. And they're also partnering with gas stations. We've seen them partner with Casey's. I believe a new announcement that they're partnering with Circle K to have these rechargeries at those gas stations. And IONNA, I would have to say, is coming out swinging on price. Their baseline non-discounted rates are impressively aggressive, usually between 32 cents and 39 cents per kilowatt hour. The one we've used here in Arkansas, in our area, is always usually around 39 cents per kilowatt hour. On top of that, the founding automakers that I just told you about a minute ago are rolling out direct brand discounts. For example, BMW and Mini drivers get an automatic 20% discount at IONNA chargers, bringing their effective cost down to around 27 to 32 cents a kilowatt hour. GM drivers get a 10% discount right inside their My Chevy or My Cadillac apps. Pretty good deal. So, how are companies like Walmart and IONNA offering rates in the 30-cent range while other highway networks are charging 60 cents, maybe even more? Just look at Pilot Flying J. Those rates are like high 60 cents per kilowatt hour. It comes down to two big tech shifts: dynamic time of use pricing and battery buffed hardware. First, dynamic pricing. Charging networks are adopting the Uber surge model. Plug in on a Friday afternoon on a busy holiday quarter and you'll pay top dollar. We see this a lot, I believe, in California. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. If I'm right, put it in the comments. They'll roll up late at night or early in the morning and rates drop significantly. It's a win-win. Drivers who want to save money charge off peak, and the network avoid grids congestion. Same way of using off-peak charging at your home. Second, and this is the real game changer, is station battery storage. And we're starting to see more of this pop up. More and more operators are installing massive stationary battery packs right behind the chargers. These sites and these batteries slowly fill up from the grid overnight when electricity is super cheap. Then when your EV pulls up demanding 300 kilowatts right now, the station pulls energy directly out of its local battery instead of slamming the local power grid. That simple hardware trick pretty much eliminates those brutally utility demand chargers. And operators using battery buffers can afford to charge you less per kilowatt hour while still keeping their margins healthy. So, where does all this leave you and me when we're out on the road? Because that's what we want to know. How does this affect us, EV drivers, on the road? If you drive an EV or if you're thinking about getting one, here's the bottom line. The days of simple flat rate public charging are pretty much gone. The market is growing up, and as it matures, as things do, they get more complex. But if you know how the system works, you can easily play to its advantage. So rule number one, and this is what we tell everyone: charge at home whenever you can, or at work wherever you can. Over 80% of all EV charging happens overnight in driveways or garages. Public fast chargers are for road trips and emergency top-offs, not your daily fill-up. And this is something we have to explain to everyone who doesn't know EVs. They think DC fast charging is the only way to go and it's super expensive. No. 80% of your charging should happen overnight in your driveway. Rule number 2, check app discounts before you plug in. I have to admit, I don't do this. I'm just bad about it. If you drive a GM, BMW, or Kia, check if you get built-in perks at IONNA. Now, I know originally when I bought my car, and they're not doing this much anymore, I had 3 full years of charging at Electrify America. I believe a lot of manufacturers are getting away from that. They're just giving you discounts within the app. If you are a Walmart Plus member, make sure your account is linked before plugging in at a Walmart charger to get that 10% off. And finally, rule number 3, turn subscriptions for these charging networks on and off. Driving a non-Tesla on a 1,000-mile road trip, turn on Tesla's $12.99 supercharging membership for 1 month. Save $40 to $50 on a non-Tesla rate markup. And when you come back, you cancel that membership when you get home. We do this every time we go home to South Carolina. I pay for the Tesla supercharging membership for 1 month, pays for itself on that total probably 1,200-mile trip that we make. So, At the end of the day, this price war is a great sign for consumers. It means competition is real. We're finally getting competition in EV charging. We're finally getting reliable EV charging, and money is pouring into infrastructure. And as more plugs open up across the country, competition will eventually drive reliability up and prices down. And we're already seeing that. Until then, just play it smart out there when you're on the highway. Look for those discounts, look to see what stations offer within the app, and choose the best one to charge at. All right, everyone, that is your mini charge episode for today. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap that notification icon so you are alerted when new content drops. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and give our video a hype. Not sure what it does, but just go ahead and do it. It takes 1 second. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your audio podcasts, hit that follow button and leave us a comment. It really helps the show grow. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, stay charged and stay geeky. So long, everyone.